Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris. Instead of counting down the week's 40 most popular country songs in the nation, I'm going to take a look back at the year in review here as we'll look back at the number one country hits for 2022. All right, we'll do them in chronological order from last December to the current day, and at the end, we'll find out which song has the most played country hit for the entire year. All right, first up here, a song that hit number one last December, and it wound up carrying over into the first week of 2022, was Dustin Lynch and Mackenzie Porter's Thinking About You. Then Michael Ray hit number one for 2 weeks there in mid-January with Whiskey and Rain. Then Jordan Davis and Luke Bryan hit number one there for 2 weeks there at the end of January with By Dirt. Then in February, Chris Stapleton took the number one spot with You Should Probably Leave. Jimmy Allen and Brad Paisley hit number one for a week in mid-February with Freedom Was a Highway. Then at the end of February, Morgan Wallen hit number one for the first of 3 times with Sand in My Boots. And Kane Brown had a couple of number one hits in 2022. The first one was in early March called One Mississippi. And Kelsey Ballerini and Kenny Chesney hit number one there in mid-March with Half of My Hometown. Then Parker McCollum hit number one with To Be Loved by You. Then at the end of March, rolling into April, Cody Johnson hit number one for 2 weeks with Till You Can't. Then Sam Hutt took the number one spot in April with 23. Elle King and Miranda Lambert hit number one in mid-April with Drunk and I Don't Want to Go Home. Then Dierks Bentley, Breland, and Hardy hit number one with Beers on Me. Then at the end of April, Cole Swindell and Lainey Wilson topped the chart for 2 weeks with Never Say Never. Then in May, Carly Pearce and Ashley McBryde hit number one for a week with Never Wanted to Be That Girl. Then Luke Combs topped the chart with Doing This in mid-May. Then at the end of May, Jason Aldean hit number one for the first of 3 weeks with Trouble with a Heartbreak. Then in June, Thomas Rhett hit number one for a week with Slow Down Summer. And at the end of June, Parmalee hit number one with Take My Name. Well, when July rolled around, Morgan Wallen hit number one for 3 weeks back in July with Wasted on You. Then Tim McGraw hit number one with 7500 OBO. And at the end of July, Scotty McCreery had a number one hit with Damn Straight. In August, Jake Owen hit the chart for a week with Best Thing Since Backroads. Dylan Scott hit number one for a week back in mid-August with New Truck. And Kane Brown hit number one again with a tune called Like I Love Country Music. And at the end of a bar by Chris Young and Mitchell Tenpenny hit number one there for a week back in late August. Well, September rolled around. John Party hit number one for a week with Last Night Lonely. Justin Moore hit number one for a week with The Woman You Love. Well, Mitchell Tenpenny hit number one again there with a tune called Truth About You. Then at the end of September, Luke Combs topped the chart for 2 weeks with The Kind of Love We Make. Well, October rolled around and Cole Swindell topped the chart for 2 weeks with She Had Me at Heads Carolina. And Morgan Wallen hit number one for 3 weeks there in late October into November with a tune called You Proof. Well, November rolls in and Ingrid Andress and Sam Hutt topped the chart for a week with Wishful Drinking. Then Tyler Hubbard hit number one with his first solo hit called 5'9". Then at the week ending after Thanksgiving, Thomas Rhett and Riley Green topped the chart with Half of Me. Then Jackson Dean scored his first number one hit there in early December with Don't Come Looking. Then following the week, Bailey Zimmerman hit number one with his first number one hit called Fall in Love. Then Luke Bryan topped the chart there in mid-December with Country On. And the current number one hit there the weekend before Christmas, Jimmy Allen topped the chart with Down Home. That was the list of the 41 number one country hits of 2022. And the biggest song of all of them was Dustin Lynch and Mackenzie Porter with the tune that hit number one last December, carried over into January for a total of 4 weeks at number one, for a song called Thinking About You. We hope you'll join us next week as we'll begin the countdown hits for the first weekend of 2023. Thanks for listening. I'm Chris.